Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio, episode 151. I'm your host, Dr. David Dizer, and I'm here with my co-host, Amy Lane. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thank you. Let's jump into it. And we're back. Welcome to Healthy Rebel Radio, episode 151. I'm so excited.
Why are you so excited?
Just because I love doing this with you.
You know, I do too.
You do?
Yeah, I hate to admit it, but I do. I
Everyone,
love it.
Listen, she said she's leaning in. She's calling herself a podcaster now.
Yeah, I'm leaning in, doubling down.
Doubling down. You are a podcaster.
I'm throwing caution to the
You're
wind.
at 151 episodes.
I'm deep.
It's just weird because we were in early.
I know.
We have done so many episodes. It's wild.
I know.
It's just over such a span of time because we took such a big break. Kids, am I right?
We just kept having babies.
We wish that we could do this every day.
Oh, I would love to.
I really do think we're the type of people that could like wake up.
I'd love to.
And do this.
I'd like to wake up. My dream is wake up, meditate, quickly journal, crank out like a little bit of hit, and then podcast.
Okay.
But I would need childcare, or I need to get up at 4.
Or, yeah, maybe 3.
Well, not right now. We'd need to get up at 3 because
No, right now we'd have to just stay up all the time.
We do anyway.
Yeah, we do anyways.
I was having a minute.
Yeah, you know, kids, they teeth.
Ugh, they do all kinds of things.
They do.
Yeah.
So today on the show, we're talking about self-care. I mean, if you're tuning in for the first time, this is a show about holistic wellness. It's about how to optimize your life in the easiest way possible so that all areas of your well-being are met, right? If we had to sum it up, it's like, okay, we're just covering what we do to try to live happier and healthier.
Yeah.
And longer.
Yeah. I don't want to use the term optimize your life because I think you like edge on those people that make me
I'm
my
not
heart
that,
race.
I promise.
Makes my heart race, but like it is a good way of explaining. Like, because I want to...
Yeah, my vocabulary sucks. I mean,
both of us are driven to be... We would like to, at the end of our lives, feel like we gave it our all.
Absolutely.
And we believe being healthy and happy is the key, the foundation to do anything. So, you know, we've studied this relentlessly for over a decade now, you know, and
we're
here.
pretty passionate about setting the example for our patients, clients, and kids.
Yes.
And, you know, the feedback that we get is unreal.
We've had wonderful success with many people. Mm-hmm. You know, it's funny because I've had, you know, mean girl moments of like, what do you do? Like, you know, people, like not actually asking, but like just trying to be bitchy. And sometimes I feel like spilling numbers on people. Like, you know what I mean? Like, just like the amount of people we've worked with at this point and, you know, are happier and healthier. And not because of us. But like I always used to say that we are Sherpas. Like when you go to climb Mount Everest, you get a Sherpa, and that person knows the best way to get there, the safest way to get there, and they're going to get you to the top of the mountain.
They've been down the wrong routes,
but they're not going to carry you.
Exactly.
They're not going to, you know, they're going to show you how to do it, but you've got to get there.
That's a great analogy.
Right? So I always think of myself as like a wellness Sherpa. I should like totally coin that because I've never heard anyone say that. But, you know, like tomorrow there's going to be a book on a shelf.
There probably already is.
I'm
We should put it on the wall.
I got to Google it.
Maybe on our new chalkboard. We have a fancy new chalkboard in the condo.
It's not fancy. It's not fancy.
We took a chalkboard and we pinned it to the wall so we could write notes.
Bought the hooks at London Drugs.
It's going to be great.
I'm
going to write you notes on it.
You know what? I'm going to message myself that.
Do it.
Maybe that'll be my first book.
Okay, yeah. The Wellness Sherpa.
Yeah.
I'll go on Amazon tonight and see if it's already been taken.
Oh, please, God, no.
If it hasn't, I'll take the domain.
Thanks, honey.
If you're on Amazon before me, don't take the domain.
Don't be rude.
Don't
email me and try to
jerk.
sell me that. Remember when someone took my name, amylane.com, and like, hey, you want to buy this? It's like, you jerk.
I actually got a request for that the other day.
Want someone to buy mine?
Yeah, they wanted to buy amylane.com.
Who do they think they are?
I think their name was Amy Lane.
Just trying to get a website.
No, that's my wife's. That's her name. I'm not going to sell it.
You're probably like,
what are you offering?
Then you come home, ain't I got bad news.
I want to go back to Disney.
I didn't renew the hosting. We lost your name, but great news. We can go back to Disney.
Oh, for sure. Oh my gosh, I'm going to cough. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, no, I'm good.
Okay, good.
Wow, I waited it out.
Ooh.
We have had a crazy couple of months. If you listen to the last episode, you know that we have purchased the clinic that I work in.
Bought a clinic.
In partner with the other naturopath. And it's very exciting times.
Very exciting. We have a name. We're just waiting to make sure that legally it's ours.
Yeah, we can't say it.
And
I've been saying it out loud.
I'm jazzed about it.
Oh, me too.
I can't wait to share.
I think we'll know by Friday. Today's Thursday. Okay. Last weekend was a long weekend, though, so it might be a little bit longer. Maybe it'll be a couple days.
Yeah.
Anyways, we have a name. We had a holiday, then we went on a little vacation, and then we worked extremely hard for weeks, and then we went to Disneyland, and then we all got sick. In the meantime...
We went to Disneyland. True, may or may not have licked some poles in the airport.
In the airport on the way back, and then we all had the flu for so long.
Like, why?
Yeah, it happens. What are you going to do? And now we're at a standpoint, well, I guess throughout this process, we have a teething baby. We're sharing shifts, and everyone's up all the time.
All the time. Except for True. The other night I went in there and looked, and she had her arms up over her head, and she was just sleeping. And for the first time in my life, I thought, you little jerk. Like, look at you.
That looks amazing.
Oh, just awesome.
That we were walking through chapters to pick up something, a bookstore here the other day, and I noticed Ariana Huffington has a new book out, and the title is something like Sleep Revolution or something like this.
I'm sure she does.
It's all about getting more sleep and choosing to sleep more. And I don't get upset looking at titles of books very often. I love Ariana Huffington.
So do I.
I think that she's awesome.
She's obviously a powerhouse, wonderful woman.
People telling me to sleep more.
I just gotta say, my brain goes two ways. I adore her. I think she's wonderful. I think that it's really important to bring back sanity when it comes to, like being up all the time. Like all these people that are like, okay, get up at 4 and just stay up longer. And like if you listen to Elon Musk, like his very rational work advice is like, well, if someone's working 80 hours a week, you need to work more than that.
No, he said, if you work 100 hours per week, then you will have worked 20 hours more than them.
He's like, so to do that, if you have to sleep at work, you do that.
No big deal.
You just do that. And it's just like, yeah, I get that. But like...
Yeah.
But anyway, I mean, like what comes up for me is like, I just look at that cover and I just have a really hard time taking advice from people that have hit the peak of their career and they're sitting on all the millions and they're good.
Yeah.
And then they're like, you know what you should do? You should sleep.
Definitely.
Like it's like Oprah. I adore her. But then when she's just like in her Oprah land of the billions and the, using a new bar of soap every day and her maids wash her sheets on a daily basis and in that world, and she's like, you know what you gotta do? You gotta sleep. And it's like, I just don't know. It's just really hard to take.
Yeah.
There's no way for us to sleep anymore. Do I want to sleep? Yes, it is killing me.
Yeah, right.
Literally.
Yeah. You were hallucinating the other day.
Yeah, like when the kids had the flu and I'd been up for 5 days straight, and I'm not joking, 5 days straight, I actually started hallucinating. I was dreaming while I was awake, and I couldn't remember whoever was. And I came into David and I was like, I'm hallucinating. You got to take this baby. I got to shut it down. And he's like, what? So,
yeah.
And there's no relief for us. We don't have family. It's us.
Yeah. No family around.
We don't have childcare. This is it.
So we're doing it, and we're not alone. There's lots of parents around doing the exact same thing. And, there probably is caveats in the book that suggest that, if you're a new parent.
I'll tell you what. Who the hell can read that? Who can read it? It's like a lot of the time, like these business guys, I would personally like to see them and just ask them, like, so like all this advice is amazing, but like, what if you're a mom? Then what? Like if you're in that season of your life.
It's different. Yeah.
And then everyone just kind of backs down and cowers and is like, yeah, you got to ride it out. It's like, well, that's not advice.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. I mean, it doesn't help.
I don't feel like it helps. Who is that book? Who is like gonna dive into that book?
I don't know who's gonna read it.
Who's gonna purchase it?
There are a couple things that happen.
Like, you know what she's gonna say? She's gonna tell me to sleep. I just feel like I've got it. I read the cover. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna sleep.
Maybe there's more things in there.
Like what?
There's two things happening, right? Like there's people who are overworking it and trying to achieve.
Yes, we are those people.
achieve. And then there's this other group who are binge watching shows kind of like 1, 2, 3 in the morning and then sleeping a few hours and then waking up and having poor energy and poor blood sugar control and higher cholesterol and high blood pressure. And sometimes it's as simple as you're not getting 7 or 8 hours of sleep.
Mm-hmm. So tell me that those people are going to read a whole book.
They're not going to read a book about it. Yeah, this is the thing.
I think she was doing well when she just had like little pieces coming up on like all the different sites. I don't know. I mean, obviously, why would I be sitting here giving Ariane Huffington business advice?
Oh, no. I mean, this book is probably not written. It's written absolutely genuinely to try to help
yes.
people.
She's passionate about this topic. She's been on it for years.
I'm simply saying we were walking through the bookstore and we were like zombies.
Yeah.
Just wishing we could be sleeping.
What you should have done, honey? You should have reached over and just
smacked it right off.
Just took your whole arm and just swooshed the
Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's foolish.
Usually I'm able to sustain a certain level of energy with coffee and,
I just envision like her in her life, and she's worth how many millions?
It's a lot.
All the millions. Yeah, I'm sleeping too. I'm sleeping real good.
Oh, you should see me sleep.
My pure linen sheets that the maid washed after my dinner that the chef cooked. Like, I'm just sleeping.
All this being said, we do practice self-care, and we have a series of categories of self-care that we have to achieve because we're not sleeping very well.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it's taken a shift once, like right now in this season of our life.
Yeah.
We're in a achieving and raising children phase, and we, it can't, you can't have it all at once. You just can't.
No, you can't.
So.
And this is the most rewarding. It's the best. It's the absolute best.
I just go to the end of my life, and if I didn't do this full on with them at this age, myself, for me and my journey, I would have all the regret.
Right.
And then I would be a nightmare to be around.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm not doing it.
No.
I'm full in.
There's also a reason why we're not sleeping. We want to be there with them.
Yeah.
We haven't reached outside to hire someone or we have chosen that we're not going to have regrets about this.
No.
And we're going to be absolutely in it with them.
Yeah.
I hear it. I can't stop thinking about that.
No.
It's such a precious time. Like, we're just watching their personalities develop every single day.
It's a miracle.
It's awesome.
It's a gift.
So, with all that said,
we still have to practice self-care.
We have to do the right thing.
But it's a condensed version now. It's not the luxurious version that we used to partake in.
No, it's not. So we've got these categories, right? We've got like stress reduction or recovery from the day.
Yeah, and you and I both have kind of different.
Well, I'm allowed to do a lot more fun things because I'm not breastfeeding.
You also have, like, you do get to leave as well. So, even though you are going to work and you do work relentlessly.
I got a pull-up bar at work.
That's new. Like, you have that. But, like, you also get even just your drive to work. Like, you can check emails without someone tugging at you. Like,
oh my gosh, you just made it sound like I'm checking emails while I'm driving.
Well, not while I thought you walk.
Just teasing. I'm just teasing. You drive to work, you can check your emails.
Well, you would never do that. You know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
Sometimes you drive, sometimes you walk. I don't know what you're out there doing on the streets.
You don't know what I'm out there doing.
You do things.
Sometimes I walk by Starbucks, and you know what? I go in. I get a tall pike.
You know what? No judgment.
Makes me feel great.
The Whole Foods woman knows me.
She's better than I do.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, tell them the story. Okay, so we're at Whole Foods today.
It was like the lane is like going through the cash was super narrow. So David's there, then the stroller with the 2 kids, and then me at the end. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm reading.
I put some things down. Yeah. Then you put some things down. She looks at me and she goes, "Is all this together?"
Like, she was very confused. I've known this woman now for 4 years.
Yeah, it is. It's all together. People, I'm a bit defensive because people don't think that we're married.
No one ever thinks we're a couple.
Every time we sit down at a restaurant.
Even now with kids.
we have sat down with 2 kids.
With 2 children.
And we've had a waiter say, "Now, is this one bill?"
Like, It's really strange. We still can't figure it out.
I don't know. Someone asked me this week if I was a Mennonite. So people don't know me, clearly. Did you know that?
So I'm giving off a weird vibe. What do you mean?
Yeah, they said, I have a question for you. Are you a Mennonite?
Oh, because you're...
Because of my beard.
Beard or vegetarian?
Oh, I don't know. I didn't think of that. I thought it was the beard. But I don't know much about Mennonites.
I'll have to look into it.
Anyhow, so this person, she was like...
clearly has never seen my spouse and was very thrown that there was a man.
And then she goes, do you need a bag? And I said, well, yeah, I need a bag. And then she goes, no, you don't. She has a bag. And then you pulled out a bag.
And I'm like...
I go, okay, fine, sure. And then what happened next?
She knew something else. And then she asked you a question, and then she's like, no. Like, it was something... Oh, she asked for my card, like my stamp card, whatever. She's like, yeah, she has it. Like, she's like... it was just really funny. Like, this woman just knew me really, really well. And then she just looked at David like, what is wrong with you? Like, who are you?
She's like, okay, I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah, she said, see you tomorrow to me. I'm like, bye.
It was good.
Anyway, we're tight.
We're tight, yeah.
And no one has ever, like, these people have not seen us together.
No. I'm never there.
No.
So we're doing these things for self-care, right? Like, we're thinking about... Okay, we were talking about how are we different. Well, I'm allowed to take supplements. So, I take one supplement. I take True Niagen. If you're familiar with David Sinclair or any of the literature on NR or NMN, which these new forms of B3 niacin, it's pretty cool. And I started doing it in September. And so that's what I do. You're not allowed to do it. I wish you could because I think you would love it.
And also, I'm deeply jealous.
You should be. It's awesome.
And so he's very, shy about talking about it around me because he knows how jealous I am. I don't get jealous about much, but I get jealous about people that have really good plants in their house.
Plants. Mm-hmm.
And I get super jealous about people that can do the supplements and the injections and stuff that I can't do right now because I love it. Makes me feel so good.
Definitely.
But this new, this True Niagen, have you written about it on our blog yet?
No.
Okay, but it is listed on our website. He's going to write about it.
I don't really know what to write about it.
Okay, you know what? Shelf that.
All I know is that it's great.
Okay. He's very serious about it.
I have a lot to say, but this is not the right forum.
He actually has been nicer.
I have been less of a grumpy old man.
We have a joke that he defaults into grumpy old man when he's really overworked and tired, which, no judgment, but it's a fact. And since he's started taking it, he's much easier to be around.
Yeah, I am.
Anyway, we'll talk about that a whole nother. But anyway, it is on our website, damielp.com if you're interested.
Okay.
And I'll make them write about it.
So this is one aspect. You take the prenatal.
I take right now prenatal and a sublingual B12.
Yes, you do.
And sometimes if I feel a little neck cramp coming on, I'll take some magnesium. But
nice. And then the second piece is dealing with overwhelm and overwork. And so we have our little go-tos. I try to keep my lists organized through an app that I use called Trello. You're a writer. You're a writer of a list.
I'm from the 1800s. I really I do use my phone more now.
No, you've got the Notes app going.
I have the Notes app going, yeah.
No, and that's been good.
It is good, but I love physically writing out things. I love it. But
so we both have this process of keeping our to-dos organized.
Right, and they're separate. We have work to-dos, personal, house, what we have to go out and get done.
And then we have the things that we do together, which is usually something in the comedy spectrum.
You and I are big on talking about huge topics and debating them. Doing something really silly, like a comedy that's offensive, right on the fence of offense. We like walking that line. And then also you and I like talking about the big topics of the world. Yeah.
We like to go deep.
That's the one thing I really miss about having kids that we haven't dipped back into is you and I used to crack a bottle of wine and I'm not talking about in the beginning of a relationship. I'm talking about for 7 years. Would at least once a week talk until 4 a.m.
Yeah, we would. Yeah, we don't get to do that. This is as loud as we can talk because these kids are asleep. So we haven't been able to do that.
No.
We do tune in. We do plug in the comedy and listen and unwind. And our most recent one was Sebastian Maniscalco. Sebastian, we had never heard of this guy.
No, and we just like, neither of us, like what both of us try to do is like bank something that we could bring to the table for enjoyment. Because like we're both like zombies when like it comes to the time that we can actually hang around. So anyway, we didn't have anything this night. And David's like, let's just go on.
Which one was it? Was it Stay Hungry? Or no, I think it was this one, right? Because he was wearing that white with the dark shirt.
Yeah, I think that's the last one.
Right? Wasn't that the one we watched? The white with the dark shirt?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's called Why Would You Do That? Sebastian Maniscalco on Netflix.
Like if you just want something silly.
Hilarious.
It was just very silly. And his physical comedy
is
amazing.
It was so good. It was so good. I think it was more surprising because I didn't expect that he was going to be so funny.
Well, we thought it was going to suck. Let's be honest.
Well, because, you know, we trust the algorithm. If something is highly recommended for us, usually it's right. This was not highly recommended for us.
No, and you know what? But
it was a random selection.
Yeah, it was so silly.
And he was awesome.
Like his physical stuff was really making me giggle. Yeah. But then also we dipped into a show, which I'm like, I'm not going to back right now, but we did dip into a show on Disney Plus.
It's interesting. I
really like, I like fantasy, but I also really like historical shows.
Yeah.
So it's kind of, I've really consumed most of them up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we have never missed a good historical show, I don't believe.
I consumed a lot when you were in school, though.
Yeah.
Because I was by myself a lot at night.
But I guess we never watched the Queen one on...
No, not any of the new stuff. I'm talking about Rome.
Right,
like
Rome.
Back in the day, I loved Rome. Do you remember that one we watched that was really inappropriate? It was really violent and then had like really graphic sex scenes.
Yeah, what was that?
You know, it's that guy. Like everyone talks about the guy. Starts with an S. He has like the spear.
Spartacus.
Spartacus.
Oh yeah, Spartacus is crazy.
But it was crazy. Good.
It was so good. Now
highly inappropriate. If you're,
highly inappropriate.
Like,
if you're a prude.
Don't.
It's not going to be for you. Don't do it.
It's not gonna but also, it's like just really violent for like 4 episodes,
and pretty cheesy at times.
Yeah,
and all
for
this
like
stuff,
4 episodes. But then it got kind of good.
Oh yeah, we went all the way. But the main guy died, like in real life. So they had to switch guys. Remember?
And that was really sad. And then it sucked.
Awful.
Then it sucked too.
Well, the acting was totally different.
It went downhill. It sucked.
But now our historical show is Vikings on the History Channel.
I know. I love that show.
So good.
I'm very depressed. It's about to end. There's only half the season left. I can't talk about it. David has no compassion for me that I get sad about endings of shows.
No.
Because I don't like a lot of shows.
She can't handle loss, you guys. She can't handle.
I can't.
Loss is...
It's not working out for me.
Okay.
Anyway, Vikings is my favorite.
Viking, and so now we have this interest in sci-fi. I feel like we've handled all the sci-fi movies, but we have never watched Star Wars movies. Mm-mm. And then randomly we started watching The Mandalorian on Disney Plus.
I kind of like
it. It's interesting.
It's fine.
It's interesting.
I like other worlds. I'm over this world right now. Like I'm over everybody telling me what to do all the time. And, you know,
we went to the woods last weekend, and that was
it's
prime.
It's prime. It's nice because our preschooler, I guess she'd be called, can actually, like David and I, all we used to do is hike or spend our time in nature before we had kids, and then it all goes downhill. So what we do is, like, we still go into nature with the kids, but we can't be as physical as we was. And this was kind of like testing the water. How much will she do? And flat surface, she's going to do quite a bit.
She walked for a long time.
She ran.
Yeah.
It was adorable.
And she loved it.
It was so healthy and nice for her. So I'm getting excited about that.
Yeah, we're going to be back in the woods this summer. We're going to be up in the mountains, and it's going to be great.
Getting back into it.
So we've got, the unwinding process. We've got the separating our lists from our conscious.
I will say we only watch a show once a week. It just sounded like we watch a lot of shows. We only get together once a week to watch a show.
Yeah, right. I mean, we've been together for a long time. Mm-hmm. Over that amount of time, we've watched maybe 12 series. Yeah. Maybe there's still a ton of series we haven't seen. Yeah. So I just want to say, like, right now, it's just one show a week. Because I don't want it to be, God, they consume a lot of TV. Like, last week we watched a comedy special. This week we watched an episode of That Mandalorian. Yeah, it was 33 minutes. Yeah, so let's not sound like... Okay, so the rest of the time... Yeah, what are we doing? When we're jumping into our interests, tell me about what piques your interest. Like, what does your YouTube feed look like? What type of things are you following? How are you not becoming overwhelmed in this realm and and getting benefit from it? Like what are the things that you're absolutely interested in that bring you joy in this space?
Okay, so yeah, what am I doing? How do you want me to frame this?
Well, I think I know kind of a little bit about how you like to organize it. You like to be worldly, so you like to get in, have at least a couple minutes of news.
Yeah.
That's not the most mainstream news.
Lately, though, I've been a little into BBC.
A little into BBC?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know that.
I'm losing it. I like to shake it up. I can't.
What's going on BBC?
I don't know. Just like people talking about their perspectives on things, whatever. They have experts. But I also like a lot of, I have a lot of now, like the big papers and magazines have really good channels. I don't even know their names. But, they'll have experts on that talk about certain scenarios that are going on right now and actually give you facts.
Right.
I like that. Mm-hmm. Tell me the numbers. Tell me like the reality of what's going on.
Yeah, I like that too.
Break it down. And there's another one I think the Atlantic I started following. They have some really interesting things. Like they have short, like 20 minute clips, and they like showcase like a story, just interesting things. Like yesterday I watched a short clip on there was two couples in the 60s that tried out being like the four of them living in a house and raising kids, and like just what went on and what the real emotions were and like how that all panned out and like where their lives went from there. What their perspectives. I just thought that was interesting.
That's super interesting and so just totally separate from all the breaking news that's happening.
Right, and I just thought it was just interesting, and also like I love thinking about the 60s and 70s and what everyone was thinking back then. And then I watched like a video on it's not funny. I don't know. I'm just like, this is just so random.
Okay.
About the tallest water slide in the world and what.
Okay, that is not what I thought you were going to say. The tallest water slide in the world.
Yeah, and it had a tragic end.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
No.
That's awful.
Yeah, like how that happened. How the engineers, like how it went through the holes, and like I like learning about that stuff.
Holy
the back end of like how that all went on. It doesn't showcase the tragedy. It's about how they actually had built this thing and how it got through the loopholes, and then like people went on it, like that, how that happened.
Yeah, right. Water slides freak me out.
They should. So
I've gotten crazy scratches from water slides and had some pretty weird things happen.
Okay, let's please not today. That's a whole nother episode. So I like
water
to do
slides,
that.
not good.
Then I like to, I don't know, like with health. It's funny because people recommend to me all the time. They'll be like, "You should follow so and so. They do a lot like what you do." And
oh yeah, no,
I'm not that person.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. It makes me nauseated. But with like health and wellness, I find I more hang out with like the psychologists and
that's your realm.
That is my realm. So I dip into psychology, and then I love to go to metaphysical. So Michael Beckwith, I talk about him all the time. Any videos that he's in, I like listening to Eckhart Tolle lectures. He's big on my feed. And Jordan Peterson, I find him interesting, and then I like to sometimes get mad at him. That's like my little relationship with him. Yeah.
He's in some sort of rehab, hey?
Yeah, it's really sad.
I don't understand what has happened. I know that his wife was sick.
His wife was sick, and he was prescribed, I don't want to tell the story wrong, but he was prescribed, you would know, something.
Yeah, he's on benzodiazepines.
Right, but then his body had a negative reaction to it.
Okay.
And then he had to go to Russia to get the proper health care.
I watched a little thing on it last night, but I don't understand what is going on.
Anyway, you know what? No judgment. Everybody's human.
Oh, for sure. I'm pulling people off of benzodiazepines all the time. It's very difficult.
It's very difficult, and he had a very terrible reaction, and then he couldn't get help inside North America.
Shoot.
So he had to go to some specialist. Anyway, I like to, and then I like to listen to comedians talk.
Yeah.
I like to listen to Joe Rogan. I like hearing the people he has on, and I also find it just fascinating that he is as successful and powerful as he is, yet he still's like an everyday guy.
Yeah.
And some of the comments that come out of his mouth just drive me crazy. Like I could just yell,
I love it.
And I find that fun.
Oh, yeah.
Keeps my mind spry and
totally. I think that's why it's so popular.
And it's funny because a lot of people I feel like only listen to or read exactly what they agree with.
Mm-hmm.
Like they get kind of like cult mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I like to dip into like, well, this is not exactly what I think. Let's hear. Like I like to have a little sparring match. I mean, I get off on sparring conversation. I love that.
Well, also you're a rabbit hole person too. I mean, sometimes your feed literally is. I'll pull up your phone and I'm just going on YouTube and it'll just be like all crime videos.
When I was pregnant with one of the girls, we're not going to say who because we'll see how this turns out. I went down like a real crime show, and then I started following crime analysis. I started to like really get deep into it, and I remember one day I made like a comment to you like, well, you know, if something's hit from whatever angle and the blood's, and he's like, who are you right now?
Oh my gosh.
Because I feel like I get so passionate and so like one-sided about like health and nutrition and exercise and whatever. I feel like I just don't want to be just that. I need to like exercise different parts of my brain.
Definitely.
I need to think about other things.
I remember one time you grabbed my arm and you go, now David, you never go to the second location. You do whatever it takes.
I still have a steel bat beside my bed.
Oh my God.
I do.
I know. It's my bed too. I know. There is a bat.
I try to make you a bit
bed.
more comfortable. I hide it behind the...
I'm very aware there's a bat beside my bed.
I know.
We're talking about a baseball bat. Yeah.
A metal bat.
Gosh. On my side of things, on I'm the exact same way as you. I cannot follow people in my world.
No, I need to get out of the lane.
I have to
which I find strange that people don't understand that. But maybe it's because they're not like crazy obsessed with their industry.
Yeah, there's that, but also it's possible. Like I know for me what it is. If I see someone or listen to someone speaking about something in my realm, usually my perspective is that, oh, you know, this is awesome. I want to do this. Yeah, and then I'm up all night thinking about how can I do this. I mean, but I'm absolutely crazy. I went to a Mumford & Sons concert when I was 26, and I was like, I want to be on that stage. I have no musical talent, and there's no way I could ever be on stage at a musical. I'm like, I remember looking at you and going like, I want to be up there.
Yeah, but the best part is then you wanted to take guitar lessons.
I'm the worst.
Oh, I love you. You're
so
funny.
I cannot watch. Anyways, I have a few things. Okay, so in my world, you guys are not gonna like this. Okay, so I'll listen to Peter Atia. He's an MD in New York, doing health span and lifespan, basically like a functional doctor. And
David.
One time he did 6 hours of cholesterol. Just talking to this one guy about cholesterol for 6 hours. I listened to it twice.
No, the best part, I was just going to say the best part is you're like, oh my God, I just listened to this podcast. It took 6 hours. I said, pardon? What are you talking about? Just about cholesterol? Just about the specific, whatever. I was like, what? And then you listen to it again.
Yeah, I did. I listened to it twice because there's so much. And so Arian Huffington would say, Nana, you need to sleep more. But no, I think this is like, it did further my career. Yeah. And so I'll get on rants like that.
Yeah, I mean, but that's so helpful.
I'll go down these rabbit holes.
It's hard to, like, this is the other thing. Like, I feel like people are, like, very much like, and you say this, but, like, what do you do for fun? What do you do for whatever? Like, I feel like everything I do is one with my, like, I feel like I am the businessman.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I am it. Like, it is all the same. But, like, we have to take our brain out of it. And even though it seems like stuff that isn't part of it, it is. Because I just feel like there's something to learn from everything and everyone. And especially if it's something you're just totally not, a world you're not in. I think it's so interesting.
Well, I mean, look at these comedians. There's a series of 10 or 12 comedians, and they podcast out of this same studio, out of this one studio. And these people, most of them are not educated. And they literally have been doing stand-up since they were 14.
They're crushing it.
And they're absolutely crushing it. And I love a lot of their perspectives on things.
They're very intelligent. That's
and
the
so
thing.
I'll
Like, comedy is truth. Most of the time.
It is. So I'll listen to these comedians. And so, separate from this one medical podcast that I'd like to catch every episode of.
Okay, you listen to a lot of high education podcasts. Don't act like you don't.
I do. But it's during work hours. And so that's a little bit separate. Like I'll listen to
that's true.
An endocrinologist from the New England Journal of Medicine talked about something for 20 minutes. And it's literally just reading the journal that was posted.
You have no musical background, but you'd like to be a musician?
Yeah.
I have no comedy background, but in the back of my mind, I always think I could have been a stand-up.
Definitely. It's most people, this is when they're starting. Come on, you got to get out there.
Yeah, I got to get out there.
It's only early. So we listen to stand-ups. Mm-hmm. And, some of them have really great podcasts. Like I just saw today that 2 people who I find funny sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes have started another podcast together. And I know that they have studios side by side in this one facility. And so now they're joining and then just going to do one more podcast. Is Bobby Lee and the Santini guy?
Yeah, I don't find them funny. So.
You don't like them? I like those guys.
I don't.
I think they're funny.
I don't. You like silly.
I do like silly.
I don't.
These 2 guys are silly.
The podcast that I love is Malcolm Gladwell.
Oh my gosh, that's
my favorite
revisionist
podcast
history. It's so good
of all time.
Holy
that's
smokes.
My favorite.
That's a really, really good one. There's a lot of podcasts that like that. Enough. No, because he's doing it in a series format. So I think there's even another season that you and I have not heard.
Yeah, I just came to my...
Oh, really?
Something did. Yeah, I got an update with him and I was like, oh.
There you go. Malcolm Gladwell, writer from New York, and he has this podcast where he goes through historical events, right? And looks at them from a different perspective.
The perspective people had, interviewing the perspective people had at the time.
Yes, that's what it is.
And then the perspective we have on it now.
Right.
And it's just so interesting.
Yeah, he's awesome to listen to.
I could listen to him talk all the time.
There's so many good podcasts like that there's just not enough time in the day to even think about. But his is a good one to get into.
It is.
We listened back when it first came out. What was it called when we watched it? We listened to a series podcast. There was a time we've never had cable, really. We haven't had cable since like 2007 or 8.
No, before that, because we didn't have it in Victoria. Geez. We didn't have it in Kingston.
Holy smokes.
And I did have it before I left. I had satellite.
So there was a time when we were sitting on the couch in a different city.
Oh my God, yes.
And we were sitting on the couch listening to a podcast together.
Candlelight, yeah.
Oh my gosh, that was so funny. That was for a series called... Serial. Okay, yeah.
Everyone knows what Serial.
Everyone knows what Serial? Okay.
Everyone knows
I don't know. But it's produced by this company that did This American Life, and they do this kind of series of things.
Yeah, that was so awesome.
That was really, really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's that. And then, now I follow, I should say that if you're interested in this kind of world, a little bit lighter than the Peter Atia would be Rhonda Patrick, which is Found My Fitness, and what's the other one? One time I recommended to a patient, what's his name?
Oh,
Sam Harris. The Sam Harris, Waking Up. It's called Waking Up with Sam Harris. So this is a...
oh no! What are you gonna say?
Is he
he's an atheist.
He's an atheist, yes, but I think that he's a neuro... He's very highly educated. I can't remember what his background is. Anyways,
his forerunner is atheism, though.
Yeah, his forerunner is atheism, and he talks about life and mortality and everything. And I recommended to a patient, and then the next time they came back, they were like, "What did you just recommend? Like, this is the most boring thing I've ever heard in my entire life."
I find him interesting.
Yeah, I know, but his podcast is super slow
and dry.
Yeah, and it's like, this is what this life is about.
Oh,
and yeah, and
I guess I've only listened to him in debates. I've never heard
in debates. Yeah, he gets up, but the podcast is very much like this and that and this. Unless he's interviewing someone who's lively, then maybe it's a little bit different.
That's hilarious.
It's so funny. Anyway, Sam Harris has an awesome podcast.
Yeah.
So
books are always a thread through our life too.
Books are a thread.
They're grounding.
You have foundational books. I'm a book buyer.
Yeah.
And I'm a go-getter when it comes to books, even though I don't have a ton of time to read. We have a real little library.
We've
got an awesome library going.
We do. I can't wait till we can have space.
Oh my gosh. So if you were to build a book series based on what we like, the foundational books would come from you. So let's hear kind of the things that really support you. And we're talking about self-care, so we're talking about well-being.
These books to me are like taking a deep breath and like dipping back into reality.
Mm-hmm.
To me, these books say, after I read, a passage or a few chapters or the book, whatever, it's like taking a deep breath and going, oh yeah, that's what life is about. That's what it is. That's where it is. That's the truth.
Sometimes you need that, you know.
Yeah.
I think that everyone needs that once a day.
It surpasses my brain.
Yeah.
And it goes straight to my soul, and I know it to be true, and it doesn't matter what anyone says or thinks about it.
Well, and an interesting thing to layer on top of that is what we spoke about last podcast. We're talking about the mind-body connection. So you're just reading the book. You might not be consciously thinking about the concepts and going over how they have, you know, maybe will influence you in the future, or how they haven't influenced you when you were experiencing things in the past. But it could have a physical effect on your body.
But at this point, I feel
in the moment.
But I feel like when this kind of sounds crazy, but because I've been practicing these things for so long, you know how like muscle memory, like athletes, you practice the 3-shooter.
You should see me from the free throw line.
Right.
Oh my goodness.
You just practice and practice and practice and practice, and then you have that muscle memory that like when it's go time, it's like there, and you can dip back into it.
Yeah.
I always laugh when I remember listening to Arnold say on some interview, whatever, that he meditated until he just didn't have to meditate anymore because he's just meditating. He is meditating all the time.
I love that.
And it makes me laugh, but I get what he's saying.
Yeah. Okay, so Arnold Schwarzenegger.
He's the best.
If you know Arnold Schwarzenegger, he was a TM guy, Transcendental Meditation,
yes.
right? And someone asked, we were watching an interview, and he's like,
what's your practice?
He's like, I don't have to do that anymore.
Oh, I don't. I'm just always meditating.
That was amazing. I loved
the best
it.
thing I've ever
I
heard.
did that, and now I don't have to do that.
That sounds crazy because most people need, but I get what he's saying. So what I'm trying to say is like it's muscle memory for me.
Right.
I can dip back in really easy. Like I can go there really quick now because I did it for so long. Like made myself sit and go through the thing and go through all the. Anyway, so some of the books that I think I just adore and I always come back to. Definitely Science of Mind.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's the bomb. I highly recommend it to anyone just to have in your house and just read a little bit.
It's a nice tabletop book where you can flip, and you can even do they have like the one passage per day protocol.
I love that. You can do
we did that twice. Maybe 3 times.
I did it for 10 years.
I'm talking about us together where
together
we sit
as a
down,
couple. Yes,
open it up, and do it.
We did. Yeah, we got weird. Yeah, we did that for 2 years. Yeah. Yeah. So you can do that. That's an easy way to digest it, and that takes no time.
There's another one you can do that with, but it's a bit more complicated, which is Course in Miracles.
Yeah, I also recommend A Course in Miracles. I mean...
Now, do you recommend the Marianne Williamson interpretation books of Course in Miracles? Or
I really love her books. They're easily digestible, but I like A Course in Miracles because I really like taking the things and contemplating them. Which
is so amazing to me for a dyslexic. Mm-hmm. To like that book and really want to dive into it every day, because when I read it, it just looks like gibberish. And so this is how our brains are different. Okay, so Amy has a bit of dyslexia.
A bit.
But with the Course in Miracles, I can tell it gets in.
Oh, yeah.
And it sets the tone for the day every time you do it.
Love it. The Infinite Way is another one.
Yeah.
Love
we said the name of the author on the podcast a couple weeks ago. Goldstein. Joel?
Yeah, and I have a few books by him that I really love. I love Think and Grow Rich.
Yeah, Napoleon Hill. The title doesn't really explain what the book is about. The book is about visioning. And
I think it's in my book bag right now.
Yeah.
Like, it's awesome. And, there's a few others. I mean, I have a joke. Like, we really like the Osho book. And it's like, aside from the crazy sex cult part, it's pretty good.
Aside from that part, we have it's like the 100 or 50 laws of life or whatever.
Yeah, that's
and so we have. If you're not familiar with Osho, there's a documentary on Netflix about it. It's so good.
The Wild Country.
Oh yeah, that's what it is. Wild Country.
It's amazing. It's very interesting.
And so this fellow was a spiritual sort of leader, guru, and we have other books by him that seemed awesome. And then we had this book about the 50 laws of life. And we could open it up, and it's like, women are this, and sex are this. And we're like, what is this?
Yeah, it was there's some real deep sexism.
Strange
in there.
Chapters.
Yeah, there's some moments, but then there is moments of wisdom, and that's the thing
So
about
many.
I'm not oh, he said something sexist, he then knows nothing of life. Shut, I'll never listen to this person again. That's not my personality. I can't stand cancel culture that way.
Yeah.
I don't believe in that. There's some wisdom there.
Oh my goodness! There definitely are. We're not like Osho people.
No, we're not.
But some of those passages,
I think it's just that you
help.
Present like different people hear things on a different level, and I think that may talk to somebody. Mm-hmm. That's not one of my foundationals. So.
Okay, so I'll just touch on the books that I have been reading then. Mm-hmm. Some of you might find benefit in them, but over the last 12 months, I think the most profound reads that I've had, The Longevity Diet by Walter Longo, which is a book based on his fasting mimicking diet, which is a way of eating to mimic the effects of fasting, a way of eating for a short period of time that gives you the same results as a prolonged water fast. Mm-hmm. And the second one will be Longevity by David Sinclair, which is this Harvard fellow who talks about how to live longer through supplementation and lifestyle change, that type of thing. And he's been on a series of podcasts, and the book is awesome. The book is so good. Mm-hmm. Recently, Estrogen Matters, which is a bioidentical hormone prescribing book by Avram Blooming, an oncologist in the States, and someone else. I can't remember their name. And now I'm jumping into Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I'm going to use that after you. Oh, it's going to be good. It's a new translation of the Stoicism book. Mm-hmm. So that's fun. Yes. And the next one I need to read that I have a copy of is Chronic Fatigue Syndrome by Sarah Myhill, an MD from Europe who has been very famous for helping people recover from chronic fatigue syndrome. So I'm excited about that one too. Mm-hmm. That's what's going on for me.
Book-wise.
Sorry?
Book-wise,
yeah. Book-wise. My current interests in clinic are exercise physiology and metabolism, and how it relates to all aspects of health. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm trying to learn more about and become more proficient in, to add to this whole thing I've got going on. Mm-hmm. Anyways, that's it. Mm-hmm. So tell me a bit about how you practice self-care in the nutrition and exercise realm with such a busy life and so many responsibilities.
Well, with nutrition, purposefully or not purposefully, I definitely do, we'll call it fasting, intermittent fasting, for lack of a better term. Like, I don't eat from, like, after dinner until morning.
You're really not a snacker. No. It's just not there. It's not happening.
I've trained myself. I'm quite impeccable with my diet. Mm-hmm. Like, it's not, I eat mainly vegetables, followed by fruit, followed by, unprocessed carbohydrates.
And just everything not very else after much.
That. No, I'm not, I don't. I eat extremely healthy and consistently so.
Yeah, so staying on that path, it's important to you. And, you talk about it a lot.
It's how I feel better.
Yeah.
It's just...
You can connect your mood to it. You can connect your physical body to it.
It's my hormones. Like, it's everything,
How did you get to that place? How did you get to a place where it's like,
complete surrender? That, like, I had to really look at myself in the mirror and be like, okay, like, do you want to be miserable? And, like, this mood swing train and, like, the PMS and all the hormonal breakouts and, like, bloating and all the stuff I was going through. Do you want to be that person? And, like, I'm a person that gets really moody with sugar. Like, I really, like, it affects me. It's a drug in my body for sure. And also, like, I'm really affected by when I go off and eat, processed carbs and sugar and whatever. Like, people say, like, a pant size is, like, 10 pounds or whatever. Like, I can sway that from just eating junk, like, for a day or two.
Retention.
Yeah, like, I bloat up. Like, it's just, and that's a miserable way to be. And, I just had to let go of, like, the mentality of, like, well, you gotta live and you gotta eat the junk. I realized, like, that's not living. It's hurting me. And what feels amazing is eating consistently well and waking up, relying on my body to work.
Right.
Like, wonderfully. Like, that's living to me. Not eating a piece of chocolate cake. Like, that just is insane to me now, to think, like, that would be correlated with living, instead of waking up in the morning and feeling light and energized and, like, not groggy and, like, not having a bunch of breakouts and, like, not bloating and, just complete surrender to, like, the reality of what has to be done.
That's a practice of being in the moment,
Yeah.
Like, you're able to to see that moment by moment so that you can
100%.
make good decisions.
And I have to keep myself in check because I can fall back into terrible habits. Like, I'm human. Yeah. But, you know, I have boundaries. Like, I once read about setting boundaries for yourself and just never crossing that boundary. And I just have really firm boundaries that I never cross. Like, there are treats I have, obviously. There are things I do. But I have very firm boundaries with myself of things I never do. And I never cross that line.
That's so incredible. I need to wear a continuous blood sugar monitor to achieve that. You should see what's happening at the clinic. There's a coffee shop that's making pastries every single day. So the whole thing smells like amazing pastries.
Anyways. Yeah. Anyway, I'm consistent with that.
You are very consistent.
I am. And I used to be an amazing sleeper, but I'm not going to go there. Yeah, and then I, you know, try my best without putting guilt or pressure on myself that I work out every day. So it's the all-day workout where I walk as much as humanly possible, pushing like a 75-pound sled. And now I'm trying to get hit back into my, you know, like, I like explosion workouts. I like, you know.
Yeah, they work for you, make you feel good.
Yeah, they make me feel good. They make me feel tight and lean and light. And then outside of that, I do like a lot of walking, hiking, and yeah, weights.
You're a movement person. You look at the whole day and you're like, what's the volume of movement that I've done? Yeah. Whereas I like to have a notebook and it's okay, am I stronger this week on this exercise for this?
Yeah, I used to be like that for sure. And then I couldn't be like that, and then I felt like I could do nothing. And then I was like, that's insane. You need to just change, you know, someday I'll be able to do that again.
Well, if you want to or need to, or if it's, you know, important to you.
Yeah, I don't think I ever
will. It keeps me in track. If I'm just looking at the volume of movement during the day, then I'm a slacker.
See, I'm not.
No, you're not. You just get up and go for it. I know. It's so great.
Yeah, it's cute.
It's so great.
Yeah, you do different type.
I'm more of like a person who would compete with myself.
Yeah.
I need to get stronger. I need to get better. And if I do this, then it will contribute positively to my well-being as well. And so it's that competitive nature that needs to be facilitated for me.
I mean, I do some competitive stuff with myself. Like,
I'll
push
you do.
myself for sure.
You definitely push
yourself.
It's just not. Yeah, it's a different way.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's our self-care. We've got the mental, emotional side of things. We're very, very good communicators with each other. We've got our conscious separation, and fortunately, our conscious separation is not to CNN. We did a whole year of watching CNN, then we did a whole year of watching Trump, and then we did no more of that. Yeah. And since doing no more of that, I feel like our minds are so much clearer and more centered and focused, and it's good.
Agreed.
Yeah. And then, you know, we've got the nutrition piece. And for me, it's about kind of this press pulse idea where I'm going really, really, really strict and healthy, and then having something that would be totally outside the realm, like having a pizza or something like this, or going overboard on one or two things. But never simple sugars, never liquid sugar. And
that's the other thing, like, we're so different than a lot of people in the way that, like, we drink coffee, but we don't drink any other type of beverage. We drink carbonated water, and coffee. Right. That's it. We don't drink any pops or juices or, you know, like San Pellegrino, those ones that are flavored that have like 1 million grams of sugar. That's a quote.
1 million.
Yeah, like, we don't do any of that. No. Like, you know, we don't go out for ice cream or like, it's just not who we are.
Yeah, it's not. You know, that used to be part of our life where we'd go out for ice cream and do these type of things, and then we recognize the impact that simple sugars have on us.
It's just such a waste. It's silly. Like, you know, and, you know, now I can dip in and, like, in the summer, like, probably twice a summer, I will, like, go to exactly where I like to get an ice cream, get that exact ice cream cone, enjoy it, you know, and I can enjoy my life. It's a treat, but, like, yeah.
So that's our self-care routine. You know, we've got this whole thing. We hope that you have something that you know makes you feel good and at the same time contributes to your well-being in the long run.
And make it what, like, you enjoy.
Definitely.
You know, like, for me, like, I try to meditate every day and journal. And, you know, some days I like doing contemplative meditation, sitting with something. Some days I like to just do, you know, meditation, just listening kind of deal. And I participate in praying and praising as well, or you can call it affirmations or whatever you want to call it. You know, and, you know, I've kind of taken bits and pieces from all these different people and made my own exactly what works for me.
Right.
You know, I think that sometimes we can look around and be like, you know, is this the proper thing to be doing? And we're asking everyone, but the reality is like, how good do you feel should be the testament. On a consistent basis, how good do you feel should be the testament if you're on the right path for you. I think that's so important.
That's a really good way to put it. We want to thank you all for listening. I hope you have a great day. If you want to hear more from us, you can follow Amy on Instagram at DamyHealth, DamyHealth. And we're on YouTube at youtube.com/DamyHealth. And you can check us out at DamyHealth.com and subscribe to our newsletter there. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. We'll see you next time.
Bye.